you guys overwhelmingly picked the championship. But second place was Serie, and it was actually somewhat close, so I decided I'm actually going to do both today. And we're going to make this a pretty long video. So some of these I'm going to go through quite quickly. I'm not going to take a ton of time on each kit. Just because I'm going to be probably going through like 50 clubs today. And home away third, like that's a lot of shirts to be looking at. So let's hop right into it. So we're going to start with the championship because that's the one that got the most votes. And look at all these different kit manufacturers, and we have Kappa here, my favorite. So hopefully we see a lot of different design languages here. Alright, start with Birmingham City, their home kit. You have this nice royal blue, this gold. I think this is actually a very, very elegant looking kit. I love the collar. I think we're starting out really strong here. I'm going to give this an A+. I'm going to give it an A, not an A+. Let's not go too crazy. Going to give it an A. Let's come to the away kit. You guys know I'm not a fan of the diagonal sashes on kits. I think they're quite ugly. I think it's interesting that you just have the plain white back there. I like the hints of black with the blue. I'm going to give it a B, above average. Finally, the third kit. You have this sort of red, dark red, sort of spirals, sort of reminds me of Bayern colors a little bit. I don't know if the pattern has any sort of significance to Birmingham City itself. But I'm going to give this one a C. I'll say it's just about average. The Blackburn Rovers. Their home kit here. I'm not a fan of split design. It's one thing I have an issue with Crystal Palace as well. Just the two split colors, it's never been a big thing for me. I always kind of think it's a little bit ugly. I'm going to give it a D or below average rating for that reason. Let's look at the away kit. This is very cool. So I tend to not like centered crisp, but I actually find that Macron, maybe because of the shape of the logo, I don't mind them as much on Macron. I don't like that this sponsor logo is still in all color. I wish it was black like everything else was here, but I love these city landmarks on the design of the shirt. I'm assuming Blackburn landmarks. I'm going to give that a B+. We come to the third. I really like the shades of green. I don't mind the split pattern as much because they're so close together in shade. The black and white badge, the polo collar, the button, all that's really good. I'm gonna give that a B. I will say that is an above average shirt. Bristol City. Okay, Bristol City, we have this all red with the white polo collar, the button. Bristol on the cuffs there. I'm gonna give that a C+. The away, looks like they're using an older version of the badge. Very interesting, very plain. White and black with the collar there, an open V-neck collar. I kind of think that's actually quite nice. I'm going to give that a C+. Actually, I'm going to say that's a B. I'm going to give that a B and say it's above average. I do love the resurgence of polo collars that we're seeing across so many different shirts. Feels like last year and this year they are coming back, and they are my favorite style of collars on soccer jerseys. Then we come to the third. We have sort of this Aurora Borealis look. This feels very template-y to me. Feels like there could be some other club, like in the Netherlands or something, that has this exact same shirt just with their badge on it. So I'm gonna give that a D and say it's below average. Charlton Athletic. Athletic. We have a Reebok jersey. That's not something you see very much anymore. Red with these little white stripes through here. We have some splotchiness over there. The black cuffs, white collar. It's actually kind of interesting. I'm going to give that a B, above average. The away kit. I actually like this away kit quite a bit more, I think. The white with the hints of that blue and the black really stands out on it quite strongly. All the different pattern in there, I think that's really nice. I'm gonna give that a B plus, B plus. And the third, it looks sort of Jamaican inspired. Maybe. I don't know. Personally, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm gonna say that's a D. I'm gonna say it's below average. Coventry City, their home kit. I've heard a lot of people talking about this kit, and I can see why. That badge is beautiful. That shade of blue is beautiful. There's something going on there. Reminds me a lot of an Argentina jersey. Very simple all the way across the board, but nice. I'm gonna give that an A. And it's like the away kit. I'm not as big of a fan of that. I'm gonna give that a C. I'm gonna say it's just about average. The home kit, or that's the goalkeeper. I don't review the goalkeeper kits. You guys know that. Derby County, their home. You have mainly the white with the black stripes there. The hint of the yellow on the cuffs, the polo collar. It's alright. It's very, very plain. I'm gonna give it a C. It's average. The away kit, I also think that's very average. And the third, I think this is below average. I'm gonna give that a D. Derby County, I feel like really did not do too much here. Very exciting with their kits this year. Hull City AFC. Now this is the Kappa kit. Kappa, my favorite manufacturer. You have the orange, you have the tiger stripes on the sleeves, the black polo collar. I actually think it looks kind of nice. I'd like to see it on somebody. But I'm gonna give that a B plus, B plus. The away kit, black with the orange vertical stripes, the polo collar again. The material just looks really weird in this image, but I'm sure it looks different on the field. I'm gonna give that a C. I'm gonna say it's just about average. Ipswich Town, back down from their stint in the Premier League last season. One of the coolest badges in England, in my opinion, just with a giant horse on there. I forget what that breed of horse is called. We have this deep blue with these sort of diagonal strips. And there's some pattern going on in the background there. I'm gonna give that a B, above average. Then away, we have this sort of neon-y red with these geometric patterns on the sleeves. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm gonna give it a D. I'm gonna say it's below average. Leicester City, their home kit. Interestingly, they have no sponsor this year. I miss when Leicester City had more gold on their kit. I think they were with Nike when they had all the gold on there, and the gold in the badge. The way this looks is I don't know, it's almost a little bit too plain. It's almost too plain. I'm gonna give it a D. I'm gonna say it's below average. The away kit. This purple and teal sort of vibe reminds me of the Charlotte Hornets, maybe, or like, it's like very 70s, 80s with the purple and teal sort of a throwback color scheme. The all-white badge I'm a fan of with the white stripes on the shoulders to go with it. But it's just not very, it's not very inspiring. I'm gonna give that one a D as well and say it's below average. Will their third redeem it? No, I think this one's also below average. I actually really don't like any of the Leicester kits this season, which is really annoying because going back, like, yeah, this 15-16, this is beautiful when they're back with Puma. That's so nice. They've had some good kits over the years, but the ones this year are just not it. I feel like it's all been downhill since they left Puma. Puma was making them way better kits than Adidas have been. Middlesbrough, that's the Boro up to. Boro, yeah, Castor Boro. So many people hate this kid. I didn't realize there was any people that disliked Middlesbrough. You have the red, and now the big white block in the middle, just to feature a sponsor. I've always been a little bit put off by those. I just don't think it's great design principle. I don't know. You have sort of these Baroque spirals here in these columns. It's okay. I'm gonna give it a C. I'll say it's just about average. The away kit. Oh, this is really ugly. This is really, really ugly. You have this blue, and then this red, and this is just... I really don't like this. D, below average. I just really don't like that. Millwall, now I feel like Millwall always has some pretty nice jerseys. Yeah, this is nice. I love this deep, deep blue. The badge in the middle, which again I usually don't like, but I think it works here. I love the gold on the lion as well as on the underneath here. I wonder why they don't have it on the top, but that was obviously a decision they made. Now that's interesting. Why is it MRFC there, MFC there? Because it's Millwall Football Club, I think it'd be MFC, but what does the R stand for? If you know what the R stands for, let me know, but I actually really like this. I'm gonna give that an A. The away. Yeah, look at that. MFC, 85 MFC. So where does the R come from? I don't know. This is a bit of an ugly color though, or color combination's a bit ugly. I don't mind this color on its own. But then you have this mint green, which I feel like just does not go with this cream. I'm gonna give that a C. I'm gonna say it's just about average. And the third kit, this one is quite aggressive. The black with the red. You have these stripes all the way through here. The red, just full on lion up there. Yeah, like without the rest of the badge, the lion, that looks really, really nice. I'm gonna give that a B minus. Norwich City, I've said it before, I really do not like Norwich kits. Like the home kit, green and yellow. I know it's an iconic color scheme, but me personally, I just think it's not very nice looking. It kind nice. It's like staring directly at the sun. I like this pattern on the cuffs. I like this pattern on the collar. But beyond that, I'll try to leave my personal feelings out of it. I'm going to make that a C. I'll say just about average. But this away in third, just looking at the preview here, is not inspiring a ton of confidence. You have this sort of grayish green to this darker forest green with some purple and white. It feels very weird. I think this further drives home the point for me that they should really only be making one new jersey a year instead of two, like making a whole new slate every year, because you have to just throw together stuff like this, and I'm gonna give that a D. I'm gonna say it's below average. I come to the third. Dark pink, light pink, some white, all this. It's okay. I'm gonna give that a C. Then we have a special. I don't know what this special means. Special edition member shirt. Okay, so it's not an actual one they'll wear. But I actually think that's nicer than their own kit. Oxford United. So again, there's a color combination I don't care for. The yellow and that sort of darkish blue. It's not super pretty. D, below average. I don't know. The away kit, we have black and gold, which I usually like. We have the centered badge and this sort of swirly pattern on the back there. I don't think that pattern is anything specific, but I'm going to give that a B. I'm going to say it's above average. Then we have the third, and this also sort of reminds me of the Charlotte Hornets, the modern Charlotte Hornets. This more neon-y teal with the pink and the white. It's very, maybe Miami Vice type colors, very Miami vibes, 80s, 90s, 70s, like members only jackets and champion jackets and things like that. Walking the beach with tiny shorts. I kind of like it. I'm gonna give that one a B+. Portsmouth FC. I have a soft spot for Portsmouth. You guys know that. Beautiful color of blue. That's just a mock-up. That's not the actual thing. Oh, because it's A+ for all the other. That's annoying. I'll give that a B. I'll say it's above average. Because I've seen that one. That's C, very average. And this third, I think this is god ugly. I might give that I'll give that an F even. I'll give that an F. Preston North End, sponsored by TikTok sensation Spud Bros. I think Spud Bros is that TikTok channel where they do the different baked potatoes. This is a really elegant shirt with the white and these sort of diamonds with like the, I don't know what you call it, but the sort of delineations inside the diamond. I really almost kind of dislike that the sponsorship is such a different design language in the rest of the kit, because the rest of it is so elegant. Plus Preston North End has such a cool badge, but yeah, that just really negatively stands out on there. But even then, I think it's good. I'm gonna give it a B. 2.35. Why do people dislike this one so much? That's so crazy. Is there like comments on here? And there's not comments. It's so crazy. The away kit. I don't like that. That's a D. That's below average. And the third. That one's also a below average D. I don't like that. Queens Park Rangers QPR. They're going through some tough times at the moment, I believe. Now this is interesting because you have these horizontal stripes, but then you have this checker pattern, but only within the stripes. And then where there's the white, there's no pattern. Kind of a cool take on the horizontal stripes. B, above average. The away kit, again, split color. I've already said my feelings on that. The pink and the black together, I don't mind it. I feel like we're seeing a lot more pink in jerseys recently. Now, I've always said, pink. Personally, pink is my favorite color. Yes, even as a man, I have no shame admitting that pink is my favorite color. I think it looks good with my skin tone. I'm wearing a baby pink shirt right now. I think it brings out the blue in my eyes. But I feel like with the success of the Inter Miami pink kit ever since Messi went there, we're seeing pink more commonly used, because it used to be really rare that clubs would put out pink shirts. And so because I like pink so much, I'd always give a bonus for that. But now I feel like we're seeing it so much more since the Miami shirt that now I almost kind of feel like they're just jumping on a trend. I don't know. But it's alright. I'm gonna give that a C. It's just about average. Let's look at the third. This is pretty elegant looking with that green and the white. I almost wish that the collar and cuffs were also that green shade instead of black. I think that'd look a little bit nicer, but I'm gonna give that a C plus. C plus. Sheffield United, let's take a look at the blades. White and red vertical stripes. You guys know I'm not the biggest fan of that. I do really like the design of the cuffs. That's very nice. I'm gonna give that a B. See, it's above average. But this away kit looks very, very nice. You have the Catholic priest collar. I don't know what you call that, but it looks like it does have the button. The big blades on there. White, black, gold, triple color split cuffs. It's really nice. I've never really heard of this manufacturer before, Area, but they have a couple kits now that I've seen in the championship that have impressed me. Oh wow, and you have the gold on the side with the blades in it. That's really, really nice. I'm gonna give this an A plus. This might be my favorite one so far, A plus. Then we come to the third. F. I don't like that. Sheffield Wednesday, it's an absolute disgrace what is happening with this club. And this club might be going into liquidation because of stuff with their ownership and all this other stuff. Just terrible, terrible ownership. Blue and white vertical stripes. And they have one of the coolest crests, in my opinion. The owl on there is so unique. The white rose. SWFC, and sort of like a Microsoft word art font. Oh, all up and down the back. It's a little bit ugly. I'm gonna give that a D. Say it's below average. The away, we've repeated this SWFC pattern again. I actually think it works a little bit better here, though. I'm gonna give this a C plus. And then the third. Why are they okay? They've just repeated this pattern everywhere. Then you have the simplified owl badge, polo collar. I think this actually should have been the home shirt. I like this one a little bit better. I'm gonna give that a B and say it's above average. Southampton FC. Oh, okay, P&O Cruises. Now, I thought P&O Cruises went out of business. Because when I went on my cruise a few months back, we originally booked P&O, but then they were bought out by Carnival, and by the time we got onto the cruise, it was then a Carnival cruise and no longer a P&O cruise. So I thought P&O Cruise was out of business, but I see now that they're sponsoring Southampton, so I don't know how that works. The way they do their stripes and then not being like perfectly spaced and symmetrical, I actually quite like that, and I think it works really good with the badge. Again, you have the Yorkshire Rose up there, love that. I'm gonna give that a B, above average. Now this is hideous. I don't know what they were thinking with this. This is so bad. That's an F. I'm giving that an F. That hurts me to look at. Then we have the third. This looks like a corporate polo shirt. I like the polo collars, but this just looks like a middle manager at a bank would be wearing this. I'm gonna give that a D. Say it's below average. Stoke City, we have these sort of wavy vertical stripes. I kind of dig them. I'm gonna give that a B plus. B plus. I don't like that. I don't like that sort of obvious split in the graphic right there. I'm gonna give that a D. See, it's below average. And then we have the third. I'm also gonna give that a D. See, it's below average. So on D, they have a very elegant badge. Yeah. This sort of reminds me of like a 90s ska shirt or something like that. Like Timber. I don't know if you remember, if you're my age, you might remember the checkerboard Vans, the slip-on checkerboard Vans that all the kids had in high school. But I like down the cuff and collars, that cream and all this other. I'm gonna say it's a B, above average. The away is okay. I'm gonna give that a C and say it's average. The third, okay, this reminds me of the Ford F1. This reminds me, the Ford, is it the Ford F1 GT? Ford GT. I'm thinking of Formula One. The Ford GT, like that original GT. Christian Bale did a movie about it, I believe. This reminds me of the paint scheme of that car. Like at the time it was built like the fastest car, and still like a lot of like a collector's icon for people who are into cars. This reminds me of that car, and for that reason I really like it. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but I really like it. I'm gonna give that a B plus. Oh, Golf Air and its iconic motorsport cars. Okay, so maybe that is what they're going for, but I thought it was the Ford GT, so I don't know, Golf Air. I don't know, but I like it. And then Watford. F. F. D. That's the going Watford. What are we doing here? And then this goalkeeper. Wow, that's bad. West Bromwich Albion. C plus. C plus. It's alright. D. And then we come to third. Oh, kind of has like a fabric texture, like a denim texture maybe. C. Alright, and finally Wrexham AFC, who I don't think they're going to get promoted to the Premier League in their first go around. I've been watching them a little bit this season to see, like, are they going to make the Premier League? I don't think so. And I'm not a fan of this centered badge here and all this. I don't like it here. I don't like the centered badge with the, yeah, it's not great. I'm gonna give that I'll give it a B minus. It could be a lot better. D, below average. This third though, I like this a lot. The vertical stripe, or horizontal stripes, excuse me. The blue with the Welsh dragons in the blue, very nice. And then the hints of that red, the red outline on the badge, I really like that. I'm gonna give that a B plus. B plus. So my favorite kits in the championship, I really like the Swansea City third. That might just be a personal thing. It won't be for everybody, I don't think. I really, really like this Sheffield United away. This is probably my favorite of the bunch. I think I really liked their kits last year as well. The Oxford United third is pretty good. The Millwall FC home is pretty good. Coventry City home is pretty good. Charlton Athletic away was very nice. And the Birmingham City home as well. So I think there's a few standouts here, but actually overall across the board, I'd say the championship has a pretty strong quality of jersey. Like there's a few exceptions, but nothing really stood out to me as like nauseating. So now we will hop into Serie. Alright, AC Milan. Oh, okay, it's like I just did this or something. Let's look at the home. Okay, so unlike the other one we looked at earlier, you can see the pattern is behind both the black and the red. Also using the non-standard badge on the home kit, very interesting. Not a take that you'll see very often. Usually they'll save the non-standard badges for the away kits. It's good, I'll give it a B. Say it's above average. The away kit. This is almost too basic, I would say. I'm gonna give it a D and say it's below average. The third kit, green and yellow, although I don't mind it as much because it's just very small hits the green. And you still have the red here and here, instead of having green. I'll give it a C plus. C plus. You see a Fiorentina. The all purple trademark of Fiorentina. Then you have the white, sort of stripy, curvy bits. The collar is a bit. I'm gonna give it a C. Say it's about average. B. I'll give it a B, above average. The away kit. Okay, so you have this pattern here directly behind the badge, and then sort of boom, 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 comes out further and further from the badge. I actually kind of like that. I'm gonna give that a B plus. B plus. This looks like, have you ever printed out an image and like you're running out of ink or something? That's what this reminds me of. I'm gonna give that a C. See, it's about average. AS Roma. Probably my favorite Italian club. I don't know, I don't get to watch too much of the Italian league. I like the shade of red with the yellow, the This one just feels like a template. The ancient myth of Jupiter. It's just the myth of Jupiter, but I feel like that's sort of like a post hoc explanation. Because, like, I think there's like, 20, 30 kids on a wall, and dude's like, okay, pick one, and they saw one that had lightning. They go, we could say it's Jupiter because he was one of the triumvirate of Rome or whatever, but I'm gonna give that a C. This reminds me of like what a tennis player might wear, actually. I actually kind of like that. Even though it is the green and the yellow, I think that it works here with the white. It's very classy looking. I'm gonna give that a B+. B+. Atalanta's another club that interests me. The blue and the black with that sort of, I don't know what they call this, but I don't know, with wobbly bits on the edges, New Balance kit. I'm gonna give it a C+. C+. Look at the away kit. I'm not a fan of these fading down. I do like that it is taking into account where these logos are and cutting it shorter, but yeah, I don't. I'm gonna give that a C. I don't like that third kit. I'm gonna give that a D. See, it's below average. Bologna. Let's take a look at Bologna. What's that in the center there? The Coppa Italia's cockade on the center. The cockade is in the center. I'm sorry if that's something like very important. I just wasn't expecting to read that. I will say this. I like the 2-2-2-2-2-2, like the way the stripes are spaced, and then the other color in the middle. It's kind of nice. I'm gonna give that a B. See, it's above average. Look at the away again, of course. We have right there what was it? The cockade. Yeah, we have the cockade right there in the middle, of course. The white, and then of course you have the red, blue, red. That's kind of nice. The cuffs, collars. I'll give that a B-. Very clean. Cagliari, Casio. Again, this one looks very much like Crystal Palace. But you know what I really like? I love this. They seem to have two sponsors. I don't know, but I love this sort of pixel art. Sardinia, because the way you have these little these circles here creating these invisible squares, it almost looks like this is like a pixelated thing. So that's sort of a cool effect on this jersey. So because of that, I'm gonna give that a B and say it's above average. The away kit, that's really, really cool. Oh, this is really, really cool. And you have the like rope ties, like laces up there, which I've never seen that on a soccer shirt. Usually I see that in hockey, and I love it when they do that on hockey shirts. And you have this sort of art on the collars, the front, like people holding the scarves. This is beautiful. And you have the colorful on that one, and I actually don't mind all the colors on that. I'm gonna give that an S. Inspired by the work of Sardinian artist Constantino Nivola. Yeah, I'm gonna give that an S. I really like that. Then we come to the third. Just about a C. It's very average. Maybe, actually, I'm gonna say it's a D. It's below average. A little bit ugly. Como 1907. Obviously, this is very reminiscent of the ocean, but I love that it almost looks like a painting. Like, you can see the paint strokes. So that must have been intentional. And you see Como, it seems to be an aquatic themed badge. That must be a port city. I also love the cross behind the shield on the badge. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. And that's a really cool touch. Also, Uber as a sponsor just kind of flows really well with this. It's not like nothing clashes too much. I actually really like that. I'm gonna give that a B+. The away kit, this one's a little bit plain. I'm gonna give that a C-. Genoa. Let's look at the Genoa home kit. Split red and blue. This looks very Barcelona to me. We do have a Kappa kit. But this looks like a Barcelona shirt, I'm not gonna lie. C, just average, I would say. But look at the away. That looks very, very cool. So you have the big cross there. And I love that they have the sponsor fitting all inside that. The Kappa and their badge there, and then the gold. The gold with the white and the red is an interesting combination, but it does work here. I'm gonna give that an A. I'm gonna give that an A. I really like that. And we have another kit that uses the laces. Let's go. We have this very royal blue, not royal blue, but it's very rich navy-ish blue. The badge, the laces, I really like that. With the red shorts, it's a bit of an interesting combination. When was this added? This was literally added less than half an hour ago for when I'm making this video. I really like that. I'm gonna give that an A. Hellas Verona. You have these like bulldogs, sort of swirly patterns all over. It's alright. I'm gonna give that a B. It's above average, I think, than the away kit. D, below average. It's just yellow. Inter Milan. It's a very interesting stripe pattern. Like, these ones look very disruptive. These ones are mostly normal stripes. And you have this sort of blue on black color scheme. Very interesting. I'm gonna give that a B. I'll say it's above average. Let's look at the away kit. Man, Nike needs to stop. Nike just needs to stop making soccer shirts. They clearly don't care. This looks so templated. Like, C. I'm just gonna give it a C. Let's look at the third. That's the only photo we have of it, so I don't really feel comfortable giving that a rating. Same with that fourth there, supposed fourth. Yeah, but man, Nike is just Juventus. I still am not the biggest fan of their new badge. But why? I feel like Juventus. What is this visit Detroit? I feel like Juventus purposely makes just ugly jerseys. Like, this is what? Why did they make this pink? Like, why did they make this pink? They literally are doing this on purpose, bro. Look at this. Look at this. They did it last year. This club broke up. I didn't realize they had okay, look at this. This one. This is the one. Like, they are trolling. Look at this. This one from 2 years ago. This is a straight up troll. Like, they're literally just daring people to give them money for this. That's what they're doing. Same with this one. Literally just trolling people, putting lightning in the Jeep sponsorship. Are you kidding me? Like, the Jeep as a sponsor has to be so ugly, and then snapping like Visit Detroit right underneath that. This is a troll. That's a D, below average. The away kit. See, this one is at least nice. I like this shade of blue with that darker blue, the white. That's very nice. You have these tile patterns on there. I'm gonna give that a B plus. And then the third, so you have a different badge here. You have a horse, and it's sort of like fading or fading out, kind of a cool touch. The dark green, I'm gonna give that a B plus. It's pretty well above average. Panama Casio, again we have the big cross on here, although we have a, oh come on. They just stamped that on there. That's so bad. Okay, that's actually not part of the shirt. Okay, good. The black with the cream, and then the blue and the yellow on just on the collar and cuff and the badge is actually really nice. I'm gonna give that an A plus. I really like that. The away kit, give that a C, just about average. And the third kit is, I'm also gonna give that a C. Pizza. What do we have here? It's a bit ugly. I'm gonna give that a D. See, it's below average. Some people about 4.25 though. I guess, yeah, not my taste. Same with that one. D, below average. Like, I don't like either of those for pizza. SS Lazio. Very, very plain, no sponsor on it. That's actually kind of elegant, kind of nice. Is that Mizuno? Mizuno. I'm gonna give that a B. It's just very clean. Give that a B. Same with the away. I'll also give that a B. The cream with little bits of the navy, and then we come to the third. I'm not as big a fan of that. I'm gonna give that a D. I'm gonna say it's below average. SSC Napoli gives you the Italian flag. There, that's very interesting. You have the N all down in the columns. It sort of has like I don't know, that like the simulated fabric look to it. I'm gonna give that a C plus. The away, oh, I really like that. It's sort of like psychedelic black light art that you can see like in a stoner's bedroom with the cream and sort of goldish brown in there. You still have the Italian flag. I'm gonna give that an A. And then this is just the home, but in black. I think it's a B. I'm gonna say it's above average. Sassuolo. It's a very nice shade of green with a black. Very, very big collar. This sort of reminds me of like 90s, early 2000s jersey. I'll give that a B. I'll say it's above average. I'm gonna give that one a B as well. I'm gonna give that a D and say it's below average. Torino. That's really elegant looking. Very elegant looking with that burgundy. The Suzuki all flows well. The Torino bowl. The cuffs and collars. I'm gonna give that a B plus. Let's look at the away. C, see, it's about average. Okay. is just really, really aggressive and a little bit jarring. And then having this like 70-30 collar is just weird. It's just really weird. I'm gonna give that a C. I'm gonna say it's average. Let's look at the away. I'm gonna give that a C plus. This looks like a F1 shirt. It's interesting, you don't see clubs have gray as like one of their staple colors. Or if they're like a workers club or something like that. It must be. I'm gonna give that a B. Leche. US Leche. That's interesting. The way it goes from the yellow into the red. I actually don't like that color scheme, but I don't mind it here. I'm gonna give that a B. I'm gonna say it's above average. Let's look at this away. I think it's too many colors that kind of clash in a weird way. I'm gonna give that a D. I'm gonna say it's below average. Let's look at the third. That's very elegant. I'm gonna give that just a C. Let's give it an average. Udinese Calcio. Oh my god, what is that? Io sono Friuli Venezia Giulia. What is that? What does that mean? I'm looking that up to make sure I didn't just say like something. What does that mean? Io sono Friuli Venezia Giulia. Promoting the region, so it's promoting Venezia. I just don't know what it means. Udinese Calcio announced an agreement with Rancho that Io sono Friuli Venezia Giulio. I am Friuli Venezia Giulio brand. Okay, so it's like a tourism thing, I think. But then you also have this Bonka Credit Union or something. It's very, very busy. It looks very corporate too. I'm gonna give that a C. Like that looks like a poster on the wall at work or something. C. So I think the championship across the board definitely had better, more interesting looking kits than, man, that pizza one is the top. That's crazy. That's one of my least favorite, but yeah, that's just my personal taste. This one was probably my favorite, this Fiorentina away. Unless I'm forgetting one. I like that Roma third. Oh yeah, this away, yeah, the Cagliari Calcio away, I really like that. And the Genoa, both the Genoas are really nice. Yeah, but I think the championship had a higher floor. City, I think, had a higher ceiling. So, thank you so much for watching this as well as all my other kit reviews for this batch of kits. I don't know, I might do the World Cup ones, but that would be a little bit down the line, I think. I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, next video will be our NFL Week 1 review. I already have so many thoughts, and the only 2 games have been played so far, but very interesting start to the season so far, so looking forward to that. There'll be a next video probably in the next 2 days or so. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please do a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this every single week. Until next time, guys.